Alright, welcome back guys, or welcome to your first time here. I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 picks for 10 comics I think you should be on the lookout for moving into 2019. Now, like with my top 10 list, I do have some rules that I'm following. You don't have to follow them. If you want to make your top 10 or top 5 list, you can leave them in the comment section down below. Before my rules are simple. Just they have to have a minimum of 2 volumes. Again, I'm only judging the book based on the story they told, and no mini-series or short stories I'll be looking at on this list. So, with that in mind, let's get into my list of my top 10 most anticipated or most comics I think you should be on the lookout in 2019. So, let's begin. So, starting off my list at number 10 is Farmhand, writer and artist Rob Guillory, I think that's his name, colorist Tyler Wells, and letters Cody Chamberlain. Now, this is a very interesting and cool book. It takes the simple concept of a simple everyday farmer, but instead of growing his own crops, this guy has found a way to like grow his own limbs and body parts. So he's kind of pretty much got a farm that's like a body kind of like museum sort of, only he grows crops for transplants and stuff like that with these body parts. Really cool concept, got a very creepy vibe. The main character Zeke is very interesting and cool, especially his relationship with his father Jedediah. Jedediah is the one who came up with this idea of the Jedediah seed that helps produce these kind of limbs or body parts that grow with the Jedediah seed. Really cool concept. Just a really all-around great book. The first arc was really great. Definitely something I think is a book that could be a contender moving into the new year. Next, at number 9, we got Outpost Zero. Writer Sean Kelly McKeever, I think that's about his name. I have no idea how to pronounce the other people's names, so I'm not going to even try. I feel like I'm going to butcher their names. So if you want to look them up, you can definitely check them out. But this is a really cool concept book. It pretty much is this teenage girl, and they live on this outpost, and like she's at this point in her life where she's coming of age. They're all figuring out what to do with their lives. It's kind of like the Divergent series, or kind of like the Giver movie series, where they kind of, if you've read those books or seen those movies, when they come at age, they all have their job that they do, and this girl kind of has this job. She doesn't like the job she's got. She wanted to work on the frost, but that's a very dangerous job. And within the first arc, one of her friends is murdered on the frost, and it's a very interesting thing. Now they're trying to figure out what's going on there. Very cool, interesting sci-fi book. The colors are very beautiful. I know some people don't like the coloring because it's kind of like a watercolor kind of stuff and cartoony for kiddies, but I think it's very cool. I like the coloring and stuff. Definitely interesting story. Next, we got The Realm, writer Seth M. Peck and artist Jeremy Hahn. I'm not going to announce the colorists and letters names just because I feel like they're not as important, but I was very tempted to put this book on my top 10 best list. However, there's just some minor components that held me from putting it there. Yes, it completed 2 arcs. However, I just need a little bit more bite from this book. They're giving some good stuff. It's been a good read so far with the first 2 arcs. However, I need more. I need a little bit more in order for it to be a great book. Don't get me wrong, it's a really great book. I love the concept of the world that they're in and everything around it. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't have something special in it for me to put it on one of the best books. Don't get me wrong, they have some great special stuff in it, but I need more in order for it to be on my best books, and that's kind of why it's here. I think, like I said, the world building and the concept of the story is really great, especially with the different kind of creatures in the world and the different that stuff that goes along with our heroes is really good. I don't know, I need something more to the book that I just aren't getting yet, and hopefully next year it'll be a great book and I can have it on my top 10 best of 2019. Coming in at 7th place is Oblivion Song, writer Robert Kirkman and artist Lorenzo De Felici. Now, when this book was announced, I think it was like at the end of last year, beginning of this year, I was really hyped for this book. I was so excited. I thought it was going to be the new big thing. Then I got it, and I feel like I was overhyped, and it just didn't fulfill my expectations. Don't get me wrong. The idea that Cole is the one who caused the transference was a great twist. Definitely was something that, I don't know, I feel like I saw it coming to an extent, but it still felt like a shocker. When I read it, I'm like, okay, I kind of felt like I saw that coming, but okay, it's a good twist. Something a lot of people probably didn't see coming, and it was a good thing to do. But I don't know. One of my biggest issues with Oblivion Song is Cole and his brother Ed's relationship. I feel like a lot of it is reminiscent of Rick and Shane's relationship on a TV show in The Walking Dead. I know in the comic they had a different relationship due to them being only together in one volume. It just seems too much similar to that kind of relationship that it just bothers me. Not as for the other characters, they're fine. I feel like Heather and Duncan and Bridget are good, but they just need to have more stuff done with them. I feel like they've been kind of pushed to the wayside right now. And then at the end of the first volume, we kind of get that kind of hint at this thing with the faceless people, and then that hasn't really gone anywhere. I don't know. This book, I feel like, has potential. They just aren't executing things in a right way, and it just is kind of not getting me hyped the way I thought I would be, and not as excited as I thought I would be. Coming in at sixth place is Boom Studios' Firefly. Writer Greg Park, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and artist Dan McDade or something like that. I'm not going to pronounce all these names because I'm probably going to butcher them. But this is a really great book. Now, I wasn't old enough to know Firefly when it first came out on TV, but have always been a big Nathan Fillion fan. I've loved him in Castle and now in The Rookie. And when I heard this book and heard his connection to the TV show, I thought, I'll check it out. The book seems good. The cover looks pretty cool. And I was really, really excited to see what it was about. And it's a really great book. The sci-fi elements are really cool. I've only read the first issue, so I can't give much other than that. I know the second issue's already out. Just haven't gotten to it yet. Really, really great book. I think it's definitely one of Boom Studios' hopefully new big book. Taking us into the top 5, we got Gideon Falls, writer Jeff Lemire, artist Andres Sorrentino, I think that's how you pronounce their name. Now, this is another book similar to Oblivion Song where it got overhyped. But, however, with this book, I feel like my expectations weren't as hurt as they were with Oblivion Song. Yes, did I feel like it was overhyped to an extent? I say yes. But I feel like certain characters and stuff is very good. The mystery is certainly there. Father Fred is one of my favorite characters. Norton is good. He can kind of be annoying. The doctor, I'm hoping turns out to be good. She's a mix for me. The characters are very interesting and good. The mystery of the town is very good. My one con is I feel like it's a little bit too reminiscent. And maybe it's just me because I haven't read the actual comics, but I feel like it's reminiscent to Preacher. After watching the show for a bit, I feel like Preacher has got, I don't know, it just seems a little bit too similar to that. Hopefully it turns out differently, especially since it's being made into a TV show. I hope they kind of are able to make it different. But just due to that alone, I feel like that's just my biggest con. The story's good. A lot of mystery that I hope eventually kind of gets resolved. Coming in at number 4 is Blackbird, writer Sean Humphreys and artist Jen Baresi. I don't know how to pronounce that name, and I'm not going to try any of these others because I'm probably going to butcher them. But this book got into my top 5 just purely based on the art and the colors. Beautiful. One of my favorite, most beautiful books I have ever seen in a very long time. It rivals East of West as one of my favorites art-wise, and The Wicked and Divine, another great book that has beautiful art. Just, I don't know, it's just a great book. The story with this girl who's like this druggie and always relying on her family, and then her believing in this kind of thing of magic, and then her sister's taken and she's got to find her. It's really an interesting book. I don't know, it's just a really cool and interesting book. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just really cool and interesting. I think it's definitely a book that can contend for a great book in 2019 if they play their cards right. It could go either way probably. Right now to top 3, we got Skyward, writer Joe Henderson. I know this is a great book. It's already been picked up for, I can't remember if it was a movie or TV deal, but it's amazing. It just takes a simple concept of what would happen if there was no gravity on Earth, and people have to survive that way. It's just a great book already, with everything that goes on with Willa and her father, and now she's out on her own in the real world. And then you got the stuff with the bugs and what gravity does to them, and the dragonflies, and her going after the guy Barrow. It's just a really cool and amazing book. Just, I don't know, I feel like they've hit gold Image this year with this book. I wasn't originally going to pick it up. I missed the first issue, but I was able to find it at one of my shops, and it really quickly turned into one of my favorites. I was not expecting this to be as good as it was, and it just turned out to be really great. I think you should definitely check it out. I know it kind of looks like a kid book, but I think there's definitely places in there for people that are adults, because there's some language stuff, there's stuff in there. There's some really great stuff in there. I think this book is definitely a book that could put Image on top again. Another big book for Image that I think could heat up very fast. So definitely check it out, because I think it's definitely one of those that people will be talking about maybe towards the end of this year, especially with the TV or movie deal coming out soon. My runner-up is Maneater's writer, Chelsea Cain. Now, I wasn't sure about this book when I first picked it up in October, but man, it turned out really great. Image, like with Skyward, kind of hit gold, and I know some people probably think this is a girl book, but as a guy myself, I really enjoy it. It takes a simple idea of like where these girls, when they hit their period, they have the possibility, there's like a mutation in their DNA where when they hit their puberty, there's a possibility that they could turn into like vicious cats and attack people. It's a really cool idea. We follow this one girl, I forget her name right now, and she's the daughter of the police force, and her mother, or her like ex-mom, I don't know what happened with the mom, was like this person on the cat task force, and she's at the point in her life where she's going through this, and it's kind of following her story. It's really great. I think this is a great book. It's got a lot to say about certain things going on with girls right now in the world, and I think it's just another great book for Image. It's not preachy. It's on the right track. I think this could easily be picked up eventually for like a TV or movie deal, because I think it definitely could hit that mark in a great way for a TV or movie deal. And it's just a really great movie. Probably not for every guy out there, but it's definitely for me one of my new favorite books, and just can't wait to see what they're doing with it. But my number one pick has to be Burnout's writer Dennis Culver and artist, I think it's Geoff or something like that. Now, this is probably my biggest shocker of 2018 book-wise. When I first heard it, I was like, this is going to be stupid. This is going to be the dumbest thing I think I ever heard of. Basically, it's the concept of these teenage kids. There's this alien invasion going on, but the only way you can see the aliens is when you're high. I thought this was going to be so stupid, but it turned out to be one of my new all-time favorites. Especially with the main character being this guy who's like this goody two-shoes kid who will never do anything. And he's like the hero protagonist. He has to like get high for the first time. And it's just really cool and interesting concept of the older kids showing him the ropes and stuff like that. This is a book I could easily see being picked up for a TV deal, and I would love that if they did that. Image or someone there, if they're watching, please pick this up. This was the biggest shockers for me this year. Again, thought it was going to be so stupid and idiotic, but they took my expectations and flipped it on my head, and I love it so much. It's like I can't even say words to describe how good it is. I want to say more, but I'll get into spoilers if I do. So I just gotta say, pick this book up. So yeah, guys, those are my top 10 books I think you should be on the lookout for in 2019. I know I kind of did all Image books. I didn't want to do that, but most of the books that I was looking at were all Image books. So if you're interested or know any other books you think I should be checking out, let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. And don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that bell icon. That way you don't miss any more comic content from me in the future. This has been Vision here with Blind Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.